Hello. Welcome to our YouTube live stream. Today we are actually going to I'm going to show you how to paint some Christmas baubles, and hopefully you can turn that into a Christmas card. We'll start from a single, how to draw a single one, and then I'll also show you how to do a more complicated one with a background. So I guess we can get started now. The paper that I'm using is a 300-gram cold pressed watercolor paper. Okay. By the way, you can find some of the reference photos on my Pinterest board. I think I have it in the description. So let's just talk a little bit about the structure of the bubble. It actually is a very simple circular shape. Okay. And then usually there is, something here attached to it so that you could hang it on your Christmas tree. So the question is how to make this bubble look real or look 3D. And to make the bubble looks more 3D instead of just look like a circle, then we have to decide on the light source. Okay, so let's say the light is over here. That's the light. That's the light bulb. So the light source is from this angle. This means that this area would be where the light hits on, so this area would be the lightest, and then this lower half would be the shadow area. I think it's important to keep this in mind when you are doing the painting, so you know, in your mind, where should be the lightest part or where should be the shadow, or where should be the darkest part. Actually, the reflections, like how much light it reflects, also depends on the materials of the bubbles, and it could vary a lot. So let's try to draw another lighting condition. Let's say if the light is coming from the front, right, then usually this part would be the lightest, and then it'll be darker all around the edge. Alright. And what if the light is coming from that side, from the other side? Then this part would be the lighter part, and then the lower left would be the shadow area. I just want to show you how the colors would be different because of the different lighting condition. And when you are doing a painting with all the bubbles, you have to consider the light source, and usually it would make more sense if they have the same or similar light and shadow area. Unless you have lights like coming from everywhere, then you might have another light source here, or you might have another light source here. That would make the light and shadow condition different. But what I'm showing is just the most simple case, and I'll do a demo to show you how to get this kind of effect. Actually, I've done quite a lot of the exercise, so you see like this this bubble, it has the lights coming from that side. That's why this area is lighter and then that area is darker. So similar in this one as well. So these bubbles all have the same, or very similar lights and dark shadow area. So it would make more sense like when you put them together here, like they are in the same lighting condition. Now I'm going to do a very simple demonstration to show how you can do that. We'll start from the single ones, and then I'll talk more about how we can combine them into a painting with background and composition. So how to draw a circle? I simply choose something circular and then just trace the shape. So that's how I get my circle. You can use different one to get a larger one. Or I guess I could use a really small one here too. Okay. Now let me just tape this area. Actually, when you want to make them into a cut, then you have to consider whether you want it to be in a portrait or in a landscape mode, and then use your paint on the right side. So that would make this into a landscape one. So let me just take this. It's up to you whether you want to have the border around your painting. I feel like I want another. Let me just draw another circle here. A slightly smaller one. And another one over here. I'll talk more about the composition later, but now let me just show you how we can paint a bubble like that. And you have to remember, so the light source will be coming from the upper left, and then the shadow would be at the lower right area. What I'm gonna do is to show my palette here. I will use some clean water to paint the light area. Okay. And now I'm gonna mix the colors for the bubble using a mix of yellow and orange. I'll start with more yellow color from the edge. So this is actually painting wet on dry because the paper is dry, but the paint is wet. Okay. You remember I have clean water over that area, so I'll just let the colors run into that naturally. As I get down to the shadow area, I'm adding a bit more red to it. And dropping that in. When I get to the really bottom, I could have even a darker color. And just make sure the transitions are smooth. Now from just this wash, you can see that this looks a lot more 3D already because of the lights and the shadow area. Okay, so I'll do another one to show you another way of doing that. Is to paint wet in the wet. So I'm wetting this circle with clean water. I didn't have, I left a little small gap near the edge because I want the edge to be really sharp and the colors are a bit darker around the edge. And now I will start painting from the edge, and you can see that the colors will just move inside to the area where there is water. So okay, that looks a bit too dark, so I'm just dropping some yellow over here because the top I want upper left, I want it to be lighter, and And as it gets down, there will be more orange and red. This looks a bit too brown. Okay. So there's another way. I feel like I wanna smoothen this up a little bit. And also, I changed to a brush with a harder bristle. So this is a nylon brush because I wanna pick up some colors. Kind of like washing the light area out. And it's easier to do with a brush with a harder bristle. So this is the second one, and okay, I'll do another one here. This is so small, I think I will just use the first method. I'll just paint wet on dry. Just a little bit water over the lightest area. Now, starting from this edge. More color as it gets down. Darkest over the lower right area. Okay, I find that edge a little bit too hard, so I think I'll just smoothen it out. Don't need it to be super white. Okay, now I'm gonna do another one. This one you can't really see that much of the reflection part, but you still need to have some color variations in it. And this one's supposed to be a bit at the back, and I wonder, no. I think I'm using a bit too much water here. I still wanted to have some color variation. So So dropping some orange. Unless you are looking for a very specific style, usually when you are painting with watercolors, you try to have some variations in colors when painting over a large area. Because one flat, big area with the same color would make everything look so boring. So a bit darker over that side. Okay, for that one I'm gonna, because the area is larger, so I can, it would be actually easier if I paint a layer of water over it first. And then okay. Now darker over that side. It could be a bit darker at the edge. Okay, so this is the main a very simple way to paint a circular shape with light part and the shadow part. And now we can add this part at the top. Remember we talk about usually some sort of a metal or a plastic thing to attach the bubble with a string so that you can hang it up. So we need to add that in. Okay. And then the last part would be to add the string. You know, add a bit of details to it too. I'm gonna adjust the shape of this one a little bit. Because it's still not dry yet, so I can just do a bit of adjustment. And this one could be a bit larger. finally use a fine brush to add some lines that attach to it. So that's the very simple way to create a picture with just some combinations of these circular shaped bubbles. You can now decide if you want to add more details to it. Like you could use a white ink to add some decorations over it. One thing that you have to remember is that when you are doing that, make sure that it has to be follow along the perspective. So what I mean is okay, oops. Okay, so you have the bubble, right? Say when you wanna add some decorations over it, if you draw it like this is a flat surface, it would look very strange. So this is not the way to do it. When you are adding these little decorations, you have to follow the sphere shape as well. So something like this. You have to follow the perspective, right? Maybe like a snowflake or some, I don't know, decorations. It has to follow the perspective too, so that it would look more real. Okay. I think this is a very simple but also a fun way to practice a simple wet into wet paint or wet on dry technique. And you can try different color combinations as well. Now let me just add some like decorations over them. You could use a white ink, or I'm using a white poster color here. Or you could use a white ink, or you could use a white acrylic ink as well. Maybe I'll use the white acrylic. Okay. On that Pinterest board, there are some references. There are actually quite a bit of the references of the bubble, and then you can use them as a reference to draw some of the decorations. For example, you know, this picture here, you can see like you could draw these decorations over the bubble. So I'll try to draw one of these. The effect of this white details would be more obvious, or looks better if the background color is a darker one. The effect would be even more obvious. Hello, UFOs. Welcome in. I thought I would be talking to myself the whole stream. For that kind of decorations, it's less obvious when you are not following the perspective. But if you're drawing like horizontal lines, vertical lines, then you have to remember that they need to be follow the perspective line. Good morning. Happy holidays to you too. Are you in a Christmas mood? Or are you ready for Christmas? I think drawing these decorations on these bubbles could be really fun as well. There isn't any right or wrong answer to that. You could definitely use your own bubbles as a reference and then draw them onto a card. Okay, so that's one of it. Oh, you got a lot on your mind currently. I'm not really in the Christmas spirit as well. And I've planned this live for a few weeks already, but never really got around to set it up. And then suddenly it feels like Christmas is just a few days away. So I thought, oh my gosh, I need to have this live stream soon. Because I really want to do one about drawing things related to Christmas that my viewers might find it useful. But I keep procrastinating. Oh, another thing is you have to wait for this layer to be completely dried before you add these detailed decorations. Otherwise, you can't get these sharp lines. The colors will just dissolve into the background if it's still wet. So that's another little tips. Happy to see me live again. I just realized like the last live on YouTube was in January, and a year just passed by. Like time passed so fast. get this one. Happy to see you in the chat as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I didn't promote the stream enough. Only make up like the only set it up like 2 days ago. Everything is kind of rushed. I feel the color is not very clear, so just decide to put in another layer. Been posting. That's right. Try to post. Although I did take some breaks because editing videos is a bit harsh on the hand when you have to keep pressing the buttons to make sure that you know, the videos, the subtitles, or everything is in the right place. Editing video actually took a lot longer than shooting the video. I've been slacking quite a lot this year, but thankful to everyone who come back to look at my video. Really appreciate all your support. I'm not really looking at the reference here, but just randomly doodling some decorations there. So for this main one, let's see, these are the perspective lines that I'm talking about. It has to be follow the shape of the sphere. You can't see it as a flat surface. I think I spent a bit too much time on doing this. Let me draw some shapes. Sure, no problem. Thank you again for coming in to say hi. I appreciate you. So I should start talking about the background a little bit now. apart from using the white ink, if you have the like the golden ink or some glittering paints like these ones. Okay, let me show you. If you have some of these, you could use these instead of the white ink. It will give you the shimmering effect. So these are some special like materials that would be suitable for this kind of decoration painting. Okay. Thank you so much. You have a Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you so much for your nice words. Okay. Feel like I'm running out of time. A little bit disorganized today. So now I wanted to talk a little bit about the background. There are different ways that you could do the background. You could do the background first and then paint the main subject. But what if you have painted the subject already? What should we do with the background? We could do a very simple wet into wet background here, and I'm just gonna do the demonstration right away. So what I'm going to do is to use clean water to wet the background. I mean, it doesn't need to be very accurate, and I actually intentionally to leave the space near these bubbles. Leave some. We don't have to paint all the way up to these bubbles. Okay, just I think I'll use the blue colors, mainly the blue color or the purple color. Maybe we'll mix some purple for the background. This is cobalt blue. Because purple is like the complementary color for orange, so that will make the contrast look nicer. A bit too purple. So now when I get to the edge, I have to be a bit more careful. Okay. You see the colors are spreading out on their own because these are the areas that I just wet with clean water. But I just want to make sure that the colors won't come into these ornaments. and make some color variation. Some part are more purple, some part are more blue, and there's a variation in light and dark value. Just need to be careful when it's near the edge. Okay, we need to work a bit faster before the paper gets completely dried up, because you want the colors to be to have smooth transition. If you feel like it's drying up, you can use a clean brush to add a bit of water. When the paper is still wet, the color can have smooth transition and mix on their own on paper, and that will look a lot nicer. I paint over the edge a little bit. So that's one way to do a wet in the wet background. And at this point, when the paper is still wet, we can try to add some white paint to it. Or actually, we can try to wash out some of the area with the using the same technique. So wet the brush, tap it onto the paper towel, and we can wash out some of these. So as to make the background look more interesting, I guess. I also give the effect of having some lights in the background. And that's one of the lifting technique that is quite common in watercolor. You can tell that when the background is darker, when you do the lifting, the effect is more obvious. Some part, um, some some area you do a larger circle, and then some area it could be smaller. Again, always have variations. Um, I'm thinking about the composition as well when I'm doing this. Like, would that look nice if I do the lifting here versus another areas? These are all things that you have to think about. Even when doing a simple illustrations or a painting like that, it also involves a lot. All these basic composition rules. You should have talked about composition first before I start working on it. Some part behind this bubble, some are in front. But that's one way to create this effect of having lights in the background. You could use the same technique to paint a snow background. The reason that I'm using a nylon brush for lifting is because, like, for nylon brush compared to the natural hair brush that we use for painting, is more like how do I say it? It's less soft, so it's easier to pick up the colors to clean the area when doing this type of lifting. Some of these could be overlapping as well. Okay. Yeah, so that's like the effect would be something like this. Like a very simple way to do the background. You do a wet into wet. Just be careful when painting around these edges. For these large area, you could wet them with water first. So when you paint over them, the water would allow the paints to flow in naturally and have the colors like mixing on paper. Now let me just take off the tape. If you know how to do calligraphy, you could consider writing it here as well. Or when you are doing the composition, you might have to like leave enough space so that you could do the calligraphy like writing season's greetings, something like that. Um, I think I will just sign my name here. The music is sounding a bit weird. Just curious, do you guys can you guys hear the music? Okay. Might have to wait for it to be to dry a bit more. The lines actually wash out a little bit, so if you wanna add them back, you could do it now. I think I'll just use this slightly darker color to do the line. And sign my name over here. So that's one very simple way to paint a Christmas card. Now you could write your greetings here. Yeah, I think I will. I really want to spend a little bit of time before we end the stream to talk a bit about the composition. So I'll put this away here and take this note out, because I hope that you will be able to do your own version and not just completely just copy from the tutorial. Okay. Okay, about composition, right? Oops. I think I will just tape this down for now. Sorry, sorry for the mess. Okay. Oops. You see, in this demonstration, right, I have these circles of different sizes. So variations in the size, in the position, or like basically where do you put the ornament and color. I think I mentioned it a lot of time, but when painting watercolors or having any kind of painting, having variations is really important. So in terms of composition, right, just imagine both a landscape composition, right? When you only have one ornament, like a big one, that looks fine. But consider if you have two, then there are different ways to put the second one, right? If you have them of the same size, side by side, that would look really weird. Right? If you just make a little variations to it, like this one in front is bigger, so a smaller one at the back. This is a much better composition than the first one already. There's variation in size and also in space, because the larger one would feels like it's in front, and then the second one, the smaller one, would feels like it's at the back. A little bit like this, you could have them overlap as well to show the difference in space. So these are really important, like, things that to keep in mind when you are composing your own picture. So let me start with another paper here. What if you have 3 ornaments? You could have them like one over here, one at the bot at the back, like here, and then maybe a smaller one at the other side. Okay, so that would also look better. Let me try here. That will also look much better than when you just have 3 at the same size and at the same position. I mean, even if you have 3 like this, right? If you have them like variations, like the size is very similar, but then um, the position, right? This one is more at the top, and then this one closer to the middle, and then this one is lower. So there's still variations in this one. So this one is also better than that one. You see what I mean? So that kind of variation is really important when doing the composition. And if you have a lot more, so maybe some would be closer and then some at the other side. Always remember that you need to have like a large one, a medium one, and a small one. So this is the size variation. And also the space. So some are in front and some are behind. Or some is at the higher part and the lower part of the picture. So that's like the space different. And for color, like I said and demonstrated, even for the same color, that you need to put in slight variations as well. The shadow part could be darker, the light part could be lighter, but also there could be a little change in the hue. So from orange to orange red, or from orange to a bit more yellow. So these are all different types of variations. And I think it's you could really play with it when doing these Christmas ornament bubble, Christmas bubble greeting card. So even when you are doing the same, very similar type, right, you could create like 10 cards with different compositions. So each one of them would be unique. Another thing is, okay, so you could have 2 on that side, and then you might want to leave this space so that you could add some text to it, like Merry Christmas. And you have to consider the text as well, or you could have the text in this form, so Merry Christmas, and then you have the different size of the ornaments here. Right. So these are things that you wanna consider when you are thinking about the composition of the picture. Um, yeah, so I guess that's about what I wanted to do. Just a little recap is that when doing when painting the individual Christmas bubble, think about the light source so that you know where is the shadow area and where you need to leave the highlight part. And when doing the background, uh, we can play with the into wet technique, and then we will demonstrate the lifting technique to get these lighting effects. Okay, so this is the result from our today's short demo. I hope you will find this useful, and if you had follow along and if you want to show me your work, feel free to tag me on social medias. Um, you know, I've practiced a lot too, and it's really fun. Here I've tried different ways to leave the white. So, like this part is actually painted with the white crayon first and then cover it with watercolor. So same here. And this one, these effects are get from the salt. This is from the white gel pen, and then I find it's not very, the lines are not very obvious. So I always prefer to use a white paint or a white acrylic paint instead. Um, this is also the effect that you could achieve using crayon. Um, just a very, very quick demo. So these are like wax crayon. And but the problem with this is when you are doing these, it's like painting in the dark because you can't see what you're painting. You can only have a rough idea. And but I want to show you this really fun effect that you might want to try. So you see how these dots appear. I think it's fun to use this technique um, to paint like a snow background. Problem that you have to remember when using wax crayon or oil pastel is that after you draw them with the white wax crayon, you can't paint anything over it now. Basically, it won't be able to take on any colors after you put that down. So different from lifting, if you have lifted, you can still paint color over it. But if you use like wax crayon, you can't paint colors over it afterward. So that's one thing that you just have to remember. And feel free to experiment and try out all the effects and have fun with it. It's all about having fun and experimentation. So I hope you enjoyed today's little live stream. I'm not quite sure when will be the next one. Feel free to suggest it to me, like the topics that we should cover in the comments. I will still be streaming on Twitch. We have a regular Sunday art stream on Twitch, so feel free to join me there. Uh, do you ever paint the ornaments in real life? That be cool to buy one. No, I have never owned anyone. I have never painted on them, but yeah, it seems like a fun way to paint on the ornament itself. Actually, if you paint them on a hard, like, or on a heavy paper like that, I think you could just cut them out and, make a hole and hang it on your tree. I think that would look nice too. Yeah, you have a pizza delivery on Twitch. I'll try to check you out over there too. Okay, thank you so much for your company. You have all really appreciate that. I think I have to end the stream for today. So, um, yeah, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Okay, take care, everyone. Have a great Christmas. Hopefully, see you soon. All right, bye bye.